Hi everyone, I am Leticia and I'm a graduate student at the College of Arts and Science. I am loving the communication program and hope to graduate in 2024. I came to the Fairfield University as a career changer. In my previous career, I have been working as a chef, cookbook author, and spokesperson. Which is exactly what brought me here from Brazil. After a BA in economics from Universidade Cândido Mendes in Rio de Janeiro, I moved to New York City and enrolled at the French Culinary Institute in Manhattan to pursue a career in the culinary industry. That was in 1997, a long time ago. Oh my God. Things have changed since then, a lot. We had no social media. Even Google didn't exist back then. Which brings us to this research that I am very excited to dig in and happy to receive the approval and encouragement from our professor, Dr. Wen Zhao, on my topic. Drum roll, please. The impact of social media in the cookbook publishing industry. In just a few days, we will be celebrating Thanksgiving. As of today, we and our families are planning to cook a turkey, to make the gravy, to make a vegetable dish, a potato dish, the stuffing, the cranberry sauce, and a few desserts. Not just one, but a few, right? Maybe it's an apple pie, or a pecan pie, or a pumpkin pie, or a chocolate pie. What else? A sweet potato pie. Well, up until a few short years ago, these recipes probably came from a cookbook or a newspaper or a food magazine. Today, these recipes are probably coming from social media, and that includes a food blog, a TikTok video, an Instagram reel, or maybe an email newsletter that you received from Substack. In most cases, these videos or recipes will direct you to a food blog. This research, let's talk about this research, will examine the intertwined relationship between social media and the cookbook industry. The players who started on one side of the fence and aimed to get to the other side. The authors who started on the print world and converted their content to social media. That includes me, right? The stars of social media who gathered a huge number of followers with their fun and smart videos and are now signing book deals, and the food tribes and communities that formed along the way. We are going to look at the variables of the cooking world and how they are changing faster than we can keep up with. For this presentation, I chose an article called Enablers for the End User Entrepreneurship, an investigation on Italian food bloggers. It wasn't easy to find many articles on this very specific topic, but this one is very, very interesting. This research comes to us from the University of Salerno, located in Fisciano, in the Campania region of Italy, by 5 Italian researchers. This article examines the unconventional entrepreneurship to determine whether the decision-making phase of the entrepreneur, The article examines unconventional entrepreneurship to determine whether the decision-making phase of entrepreneurial process is collective. The analysis identified a virtuous cycle. Listen to this because this expression runs a lot during the research of it. The analysis identified a virtuous cycle that links knowledge, innovation, judgment, and decision-making to collective interactions built on passion, experience, and sharing. to study food bloggers as unconventional entrepreneurs, because really that's what we are, unconventional entrepreneurs. Data was collected and analyzed using ethnographic analysis. Listen to this word, that was new to me. Ethnographic is a research method specific for qualitative analysis of social media research. A supplementary online survey of food bloggers and their followers was also performed. 3 groups of food bloggers are identified in the research: amusing, functional, and fervent. Only fervent food bloggers, thanks to the virtuous circle built on passion, experience, and sharing as enablers, can be considered accidental entrepreneurs. In other words, you have to be fervently posting about food on your blog. Like, you have to be on fire, many times a day, not just every once in a while. The authors refer to open invitation as in entrepreneurs transform opportunities and ideas into financial, cultural, or social value for others. The food blogger is not considered the sole source of economic change. There is an entrepreneurial process implied that is more collective than individual. So listen how important that is. Because really what it says is this is not just a one person putting out content. This interaction between followers and blogger is really the most game changer, not just for food bloggers, but for all types of businesses. The method, let's talk about the method used in this research, was ethnographic. We talked about that. And they did an analysis to map the nature of online conversations among followers of Italy's most prominent food bloggers. Isn't that interesting? Next, an online survey gathered data from a group of food bloggers and their followers to examine this kind of interaction. The authors used this data to identify, here we go again, the most important line of the entire survey and the entire research. They identified what? A virtuous cycle that links knowledge, innovation, judgment, and decision-making through the enabling of passion, experience, and sharing. That's what we do online. I love these words. And I love this research because that's exactly what I am. I am an enabler of passion, experience, and sharing, all through food and cooking on social media. First on the print world, now on social media. First, individual knowledge resulting from passion and or necessity are shared in the form of blog posts or videos on social media. This generation of knowledge creates innovation, and that's the real exciting thing. It is very creative and innovative to do this kind of work. Then the crowd judges the result by embracing and interacting. And that's the hard part, because sometimes you want a lot of interactions and you only get a few interactions. There are many hard parts too. Finally, social success influences the user's decision to participate in the entrepreneurial process. So as we see here, the model of end-use entrepreneurial can be enriched by the collective rather than individual nature of decision making. In other words, business decisions are now being made through the interaction of the blogger and the followers. Okay, basically the research offers a fresh perspective regarding the role of online communities in the unconventional entrepreneurial process, exactly what we're talking. Passion refers to fascination with something powerful, emotionally compelling, intense, positive feelings. Recent studies have explored how shared passion can lead people towards business activities. Isn't that so exciting? I just find this so interesting. In this case of social media and cooking, customer co-creation, which is driven by personal passion, is a great source of knowledge and innovation. So, today, consumers feel a strong need to have value exchanges with peers and firms. So it's not just pertaining to food bloggers or bloggers. It now runs in every type of business model. Not all, but many. This interaction between the consumer and the decision making. Social media represents a virtual space where users can create and share multimedia content and interact with other users who are interested in the same topics, brands, or goods. Right, and that's how a community is formed. The blogosphere and social networks are ideal places for people to share and interact with one another and to form a community, right? We're talking about this. A blog, which can also be considered as an online diary, is one of the most popular ways for ordinary people to share opinions and information about topics that interest them. Okay, now, food happens to be a very popular blogging topic. I was once, I'll make a pause here from the research. There are 3 F's: food, fashion, and fitness. Those 3 subjects are very popular for online blogging. Food is one of them. Functionally and culturally, food has a prominent place in people's lives. Sharing food is central to people's culture. Cookbooks, cooking shows, and food websites help shape people's identity. Thus, writing about food or being part of a community of foodies gives people a sense of place, belonging, and achievement in a comfortable, authentic, stimulating environment. Blogs represent a fruitful marketing platform where food bloggers can interact with followers, right? We're talking about this all the time. This is a big takeaway from this research. To clarify how interactions between bloggers and their communities affect accidental entrepreneurship, this study focused on just food bloggers. 1 second. Okay, let's continue. The empirical data in this study came from the Italian blogosphere. Food is a central part of the Italian culture and economy, accounting for 13.4% of the Italian GDP. Combining this evidence with the importance of Italian food bloggers as entrepreneurs leads to the following hypothesis. This is a very important moment here of our research, the creation of the hypothesis. Let's see. The interaction between food bloggers and their communities affects accidental entrepreneurship thanks to, again, the virtual cycle based on collective interactions of passion, experience, and sharing, and rooted in knowledge, innovation, judgment, and decision making. This study was based on the key factor of sharing, with, according to this scholar article, is a pillar to new business models, just like we talked about it. Let's talk about the results of this research. Sharing a common passion and personal connective identity, raising community members' awareness and knowledge of the topic, and exploiting community members' comments to increase awareness are the premises for engaging in an entrepreneurial process. You see, this interaction is a business model. This process reflects the activity of food bloggers and their followers. Nevertheless, using food bloggers to exemplify the process is justified by their character and the economic value that they generate. Research by Extreme Social Index, which measures the activity and quality of influencers in sectors ranging from food to travel, has shown that Italian food bloggers generate nearly 3 million euros, only considering web advertising, through more than 15 million online interactions. I mean, this is just in Italy. Imagine in the US, and we're going to talk about that. The study examines the case of Chiara Macci. So Chiara Macci is an Italian food blogger who has a law degree and worked in marketing before starting her own food blog in 2010. Well, I don't need to tell you that after reading this research, of course, I started to follow Chiara Macci. Her success is tremendous and very inspiring. She now consults for several food and beverage firms, appears on national television shows, and writes for many Italian magazines. Personalization, strong identification with character, storytelling, professionalism, high quality content, and a love for food are the main characteristics of her blog. In addition, social media, in her case, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, provide a great opportunity for her to communicate easily with members of her community. Specifically, 1,061 follower comments on the 35 most discussed posts on Chiara Macci Facebook page during Couscous Week and an ordinary week were collected and were analyzed using participant observation and disclosure analysis. The main findings of the ethnographic research were classified into the heuristic categories of topic and sentiment. This analysis shows that the passion experience sharing milieu, there seems to emerge again a virtuous cycle based on individual knowledge of the blogger, novel suggestions of the followers, crowd judgment of the followers, and decision making by the blogger to start an entrepreneurial process. The data, therefore, it supports our hypothesis. Again, the hypothesis is that the interaction between food bloggers and their communities affects accidental entrepreneurship, thanks to a virtuous cycle based on collective interactions of passion, experience, and sharing, and rooted in knowledge, innovation, judgment, and decision making. Now, let's talk about the limitations of our research. The first point is that only Italian food bloggers were considered. The survey considered almost exclusively successful food bloggers from Italy. It could be useful to study smaller niche bloggers who are less likely to be acknowledged by the general web community. Further ethnographic analysis could yield a more detailed understanding of the cultural milieu of food bloggers as entrepreneurs by identifying emergent trends in terms of motivation to become entrepreneurs. Now let's talk about the big conclusion of the research by the authors. The complexity of social media has forced entrepreneurs to confront new challenges using innovative approaches and behaviors. An important change in this highly complex world is the increasing involvement of users in business life, principally through new technologies and social media. If bloggers and followers interact, work, and support one another, a passion experience sharing milieu is likely to be enabled. Notably, The value of the sense of community can be expressed not only in terms of information and knowledge, rational assets, but also in terms of involvement and trust, which are the emotional assets. So we're almost at 20 minutes, so I just want to give my takeaway from analyzing this one article about Italian food bloggers. First of all, even though the research was conducted in Italy, it really applies not only to the United States, but to other countries as well. So this model research, I think it can be applied to many other countries. Also, we didn't talk about COVID. This was happening way before COVID, but COVID only exacerbated this online life. The search for food on the internet, the interaction between food bloggers and social media on the internet. So COVID intensified what was already happening. And the final takeaway is that between the creativity behind cooking and the advancement of technology, I think that the food world will never, ever, ever be the same. On one hand, it became oversaturated because everybody now is a food blogger. You can take videos, you can film yourself in the kitchen. And on the other hand, it opened many doors to incredible new artists. And I think that by now, guys, this is really a wild, wild west on the internet. And basically, we have to serve our new emperor. And his name is Google. We have to serve him. I'm into Google. I hope you like this presentation, and I look forward to watching the other presentations in the class as well. This was a really exciting research and topic for me to research, and I have more articles to come that I will be examining in the final research paper. Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.